You are beautiful. You are strong. You are love. You deserve to have the life you desire. It doesn't matter what others say about you. It's about what you say about you. You are worthy. Hey y'all, so I just came back from a concert. It is Cancer season. Shout out to all the Cancers. I'm a fellow Cancerian also. July 15th. Yay! Happy birthday, everybody. Happy birthday to myself. Today's video is going to be a little bit different from what you might be used to. I'm going to be talking about something that can be a little touchy for some people, but I feel that it's one of those topics that should be addressed. And the reason why I'm bringing up this topic is because last week, it was literally on my birthday, I decided to step outside of my comfort zone and to do something I've never done before. I went to iFly, which is an indoor skydiving facility in my city. And it was my first time doing it, but I'm someone who in the past has been known to be afraid of heights. I personally must say that I was extremely, I would say, I wasn't, okay, I had normal nerves. I had normal nerves because I'm one of those people who, in the past, I've had to do things I've been afraid to do or things I might not have wanted to do. And so I feel like putting myself in those positions, just so having to do things I didn't want to do, kind of helped me when it comes to stepping outside of my comfort zone and being able to do something I've never done before. So I'm going to share my first experience as it pertains to heights. And I know when it comes to fear, that it's a wide range of different things people can be afraid of. I know when we're all younger, it's the dark, right? I feel like that's a common one a lot of young people have shared. And for me, my first one came when I was like 10 or 11 years old, guys, when I had my first traumatic experience when it comes to water. I was asking these lifeguards, like, are you going to catch me when I come down the water slide? And for my age, I considered myself to be pretty short. I didn't hit my growth spurt yet. So, you know, the water, even though I think it was like, I'm not sure if it was probably 5 feet, maybe 4.5 feet. It was something like that. But you know, when you go on a water slide, it's supposed to pretty much sweep you under your feet. So when you shoot down, you kind of go under a little bit. It just happens that way. Well, I had never had any experiences with water and I was nervous and I was like, oh, it's my first time. And I was just so concerned because I didn't learn how to swim when I was young. Y'all, they let me down. They did not catch me and I was so scared. It was so bad. Like, I didn't get back on. It was a terrible experience and I feel like it has hindered my will to want to learn how to swim, even though I feel like it's something I definitely have to do, definitely want to do, because I'm someone who eventually wants to be able to scuba dive, and to scuba dive you definitely have to know how to swim. It's just one of those things where it's just like, it's taken me a long time to get to that point where I'm just like, okay, yeah, I can do it, you know? So that's the first thing. Number two is heights. My first time getting on a roller coaster, I don't know, I think I was probably like 14, 15. I think it was like 14, 15. I went with my family to Cedar Point, and I'm one of those people, like, I've never experienced it before. So although I knew that, you know, I could be a little like, oh, heights, you know. But by that time, I had been on a plane, which was like easy peasy, right? And I had never been on a roller coaster. So I was like, of course, I'm gonna get on the first roller coaster I see. I was so excited, and I was like, I remember the name, it was the Raptor. I was like, oh, that looks like so much fun. The only thing I will say is my nerves didn't kick in until the long waits. You know, when you're doing something that you've never done before, you're excited, but then like for some people, it can be kind of scary. So after you hear the screams for so long, you slowly make your way through the line all the way to the top. You're just like, do I even still want to do this? Like, can I even make it? I'm a little dramatic, y'all, I know. But, you know, I got on. I was just like, you know what? Once we get past that, like, beginning part, everything's gonna be cool, whatever. When I tell you, and it's so funny because I closed my eyes, y'all. I closed my eyes the whole time. Well, no, I closed my eyes all the way till we got to the top. And I actually was able to open my eyes after we got past the drop, but the drop was so wild. Like, I realized the thing I don't like, but that's for another time. The moral of the story, I was still able to get on a few rides that had water involved, but I realized, I'm just like, wow, I'm like, it was not the best experience. I was so nervous, and by the time I got on there, it was just like, it was fun, don't get me wrong, it was so much fun. And I will get on roller coasters again in the future, but I'm just talking about how the things we sometimes think we're afraid of might not be as scary as we think. I remember another thing that made me nervous, or it's like, it's weird. I wanted it done, but I was scared to get it done at the same time because of the pain factor. It was my second piercing. I was able to get my belly button pierced when I was a senior in high school. And y'all, I was all for it. I'm like, yeah, let's get this done. I was acting all like, you know, I know what I want. I know how I want it to look, everything. Y'all, by the time it came time for me to actually get it, I was so nervous. But at the same time, I think I wanted it more than my nervous factor. Y'all, you would never believe this. I almost passed out. I was so afraid. Like, I borderline blacked out. It was so wild. And I was just like, this doesn't make any sense. I want this. So how am I just so afraid? And I realized it's the anticipation of pain that makes us afraid, or the anticipation of not thinking about maybe the positive or the other side. Now, granted, sometimes that other aspect is not a part of the equation. So don't get me wrong here. You are supposed to understand your fears, why you're afraid, and navigate through that space. But when it comes to scenarios where you are someone who's experienced abuse in a relationship or trauma in a relationship, whether it be with a family member, a parent, a friend, whatever, I highly recommend that you go to therapy, because I know for a fact that therapy is extremely helpful and beneficial in situations such as that. But when it comes to love, you shouldn't be afraid to be loved again. You shouldn't be afraid to potentially be hurt again, because that's just a part of life. And as long as you know how you're coming to the table and that you're moving with the right energy to attract what you want, you have to heal what you've experienced. That way, when you get ready for something new, something beautiful, something well-deserved, you're able to receive it the way that God intends for you to receive it, or wants for you to receive it. So I'm saying all that to say that I want you to reevaluate the things you think you're afraid of and see if it's something that'll stop you from living a full life. Personally, I am someone who loves experiences. So things like scuba diving, skydiving, paragliding, parasailing, all that kind of stuff. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, it seems like it'll be a really good time, you know? And I'm just like, for me, I personally, I'm just like, wow, is my fear bigger than the excitement I have for the experience of trying something new? And I'm just one of those people, I was like, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Like, last Tuesday, getting back to the story, last Tuesday, I did the indoor skydiving and I did it by myself because I wanted it to be something personal, something like that I was overcoming little by little. And now that I've done it once by myself, I am extremely certain that I can get through it with, you know, going with like a group of friends or family or something like that. But just for it to be my first experience, I didn't want any outside distractions or any outside, like anything that could potentially talk me out of it, right? And it wasn't that scary. I mean, like, I feel like the amount of nerves I had was the kind that anyone would have doing something new, something they've never done before. And one way I was able to get around like the fear of, oh my God, like it's so many different things I could have flagged and been freaking out over. But I chose not to. I chose to overlook them because I was just like, I think I'm thinking too much on it. Like, let me not do that. Let me really reel it back in and just be here in the experience. I wasn't the first person to go, right? Thank God. So that was like, whew, you know, that was like a breath of fresh air for me. I went second, which is not bad. It's not last, which means you don't have enough time to like chicken out and be like, no, I won't go. And then at the same time, it's not first, so you're not like freaking out like, oh God, I don't know what to expect. I was literally able to see what happens when it's your first time. So it was cool. I appreciated the experience. And while I did not fly high, I did enjoy the fact that I was able to get a feel for how my body's supposed to be in, well, the winds weren't nearly as strong as they would be jumping from an actual plane 25,000 feet from the sky. But I feel like the baby steps are small accomplishments to the big goal. So I'm proud of myself for that. And I do want to encourage you guys to do some things that may seem scary. Step outside of your comfort zone because I feel like life is meant to be enjoyed. We are here to enjoy our lives to the fullest. We are here to experience new things, to have fun, and to be loved. So don't be afraid to be loved. Don't be afraid to be hurt. Don't be afraid to be a little afraid because it happens. It's natural. I say welcome it. And if you're more excited and curious about an experience, step on the edge and leap. Go ahead and try that new thing. That's something I'm definitely embracing as I get older, because as I get older, I realize like some things just aren't as serious or as big of a deal as we make them. And I would rather be someone who got to say, I experienced that, it was amazing, or I experienced that and I didn't like it. Like, I would rather be someone who's able to give a educated opinion about an experience versus allowing my fear to prejudge an experience that I might not actually have a full understanding of. So I pray that this video helps you to welcome uncertainty, a little bit of nerves, but more than all of that, embrace new experiences, embrace fun, embrace good things, and try something new. You might like it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I guess this is my birthday video since it's still in the same week of my birthday. So yay, happy birthday to me. But I will be posting again next week, guys. And I do apologize for the late post. I actually have an excuse. It was my birthday this past Tuesday, so that's why this post is late. Sorry, but I'm gonna do better. I feel like I say that quite a bit, but anyway, until next time, everyone.